They say talent can open any door. But for Courtney Hadwin, that door led to a spotlight so bright it nearly consumed her. She was the girl with the voice of a legend, trapped in the body of a shy teenager. From the moment she stepped onto the America's Got Talent stage, the world knew they were witnessing something rare, something raw, and something unforgettable. But behind that trembling voice, those shaky hands, and her explosive performances hid a world of pain, silence, and secrets that would slowly unravel. This is the heartbreaking tragedy of Courtney Hadwin. Before the world called her a rock and roll prodigy, before Simon Cowell compared her to Janis Joplin, Courtney was just a quiet girl from the small town of Hesleden in the northeast of England. Born on July 6, 2004, she was painfully shy, the kind of child who struggled to speak up in class, often looking down at her feet instead of meeting eyes. Her parents, Paul and Anne-Marie Hadwin, knew their daughter had something special, but even they couldn't have imagined how powerful that something truly was. She didn't start out singing in front of huge crowds. In fact, she hated attention. But music was her escape. It was the one place she didn't feel scared. And when she sang, it was as if the world paused to listen. Her teachers noticed, local talent scouts noticed, and before long, so did the entire world. Courtney's rise to fame began humbly. She entered small local competitions and eventually appeared on The Voice Kids UK in 2017. Though she didn't win, her performance of Nutbush City Limits left judges stunned. But that was just a whisper of what was coming. In 2018, Courtney crossed the Atlantic and auditioned for America's Got Talent, one of the biggest stages on Earth. Nervous, almost whispering her name during the intro, nobody expected what came next. But the moment the music started and she burst into a wild rendition of Otis Redding's Hard to Handle, the audience erupted. She transformed, becoming someone else entirely on stage. Judges were left speechless. How could such a powerful voice come from such a timid girl? How did she go from trembling to commanding the room? How was it even real? Howie Mandel slammed the golden buzzer, sending her straight to the live shows. And just like that, Courtney Hadwin became a global sensation overnight. Millions around the world replayed that moment. It went viral. Her unique mix of soulful vocals, unpredictable stage presence, and retro musical style turned her into a rock icon at just 14 years old. She was praised for being a breath of fresh air in the pop-saturated industry. People compared her to Amy Winehouse, Janis Joplin, even Mick Jagger. Her fan base grew fast. Social media exploded. Record labels lined up. She released singles, performed in America, toured in the UK, and gave interviews that made headlines. But as quickly as she had risen, cracks began to form behind the spotlight. The fame was overwhelming. The expectations were crushing. And the once shy girl who escaped into music began to feel trapped by it. Away from the cameras, Courtney was battling something far darker. The pressures of sudden fame, constant public scrutiny, and living up to the hype started to weigh heavily on her. Her parents tried to protect her, shielding her from the harshest parts of the industry, but there was only so much they could do. As the demands piled up, Courtney became increasingly withdrawn. Insiders spoke of canceled appearances, overwhelming anxiety attacks, and sessions in therapy. There were whispers of legal issues over music rights, conflicts with management, struggles with identity. Some even claimed she was being pushed too hard, too fast. Behind the smiles and camera lights, Courtney was reportedly spiraling. Some called it burnout, others called it exploitation. But one thing was clear. This child star was drowning under the weight of her own gift. Then came the silence. After a few sporadic performances and minimal updates, Courtney seemed to disappear from the public eye. Fans noticed. Where was she? What happened? Rumors began to swirl. There were unconfirmed reports of a breakdown. Some claimed she had been checked into a private facility. Others said she had simply quit music altogether. Her social media went quiet. No new music, no interviews. Just radio silence. And then came the news that shocked everyone. On a cold morning in early 2025, headlines broke. Courtney Hadwin had passed away. She was just 20 years old. Fans couldn't believe it. Was it real? Was it a hoax? But within hours, her family confirmed the devastating truth. Courtney was gone. The details were initially scarce. Privacy was requested. But the grief was very real. Tributes poured in from celebrities, fellow artists, and fans across the globe. America's Got Talent released a statement honoring her spirit, her voice, and her undeniable mark on the show's history. Simon Cowell, visibly shaken during an interview, said, "Courtney was one of the purest souls I ever met. Her talent was otherworldly, and so was her pain." As investigations followed, more details slowly emerged. Sources close to the family suggested that Courtney had struggled silently for years with severe anxiety and depression. There were mentions of over-medication. A close friend spoke anonymously about the dark places Courtney often found herself in. Some media outlets hinted at possible substance abuse, though no hard evidence was provided. The autopsy was eventually released, citing acute respiratory failure as the official cause of death, with contributing factors listed as unspecified psychological stressors and possible sedative interactions. No criminal activity was suspected. It was ruled a tragic, untimely death. But questions still remained. Why didn't anyone intervene sooner? Why wasn't more done? Did fame kill her? Or did we? Behind the scenes, there were whispers of things the public never knew. Private journals found in her room revealed entries full of fear, confusion, and exhaustion. One heartbreaking note read, "I don't know who I am without the stage, but I don't know how to keep pretending either." A rare interview with a former producer revealed that Courtney had wanted to quit music entirely in 2023, saying, "I just want to be normal. I don't want to perform anymore." But contractual obligations, financial pressures, and guilt kept her going. Another shocking claim came from a close family member who said Courtney once confided, "People love who I become when I sing, but no one wants to know the real me." These weren't just the struggles of a singer. These were the cries of a young girl who never got to live her life on her own terms. When the news of her death reached fans, the outpouring was overwhelming. Vigils were held in both the UK and the US. Thousands gathered outside her former school. People lit candles, shared videos of her performances, and wrote messages of love, regret, and remembrance. Hashtags like #RIP Courtney and #Voice of an Angel trended worldwide. One fan wrote, "Courtney didn't just sing, she made us feel something deeper than words." Her funeral, though private, was attended by close friends, family, and a few select members of the AGT team. A lone acoustic guitar sat beside her casket. Her parents gave a short, tear-filled eulogy, saying only, "She gave the world her voice, and it gave her its weight. We only wish she'd had more time to find peace." Today, Courtney's legacy lives on. Her AGT performances are still some of the most watched clips in the show's history. Young singers cite her as an inspiration. Music teachers use her journey to talk about the dangers of early fame. A foundation in her name, the Courtney Hadwin Project, has been launched to support young artists struggling with mental health issues in the entertainment industry. And every year, fans gather online on her birthday to celebrate what she gave the world. and mourn what was taken too soon. Courtney Hadwin was more than a viral star. She was more than a contestant. She was more than a voice. She was a soul trying to be heard in a world that only wanted the performance. And maybe, in the end, that's the tragedy. We fell in love with her music, but we didn't hear her silence. She gave us so much in such a short time. And now, all we have left are the echoes of a voice that should have kept singing. Let us know how you remember Courtney Hadwin in the comments. And subscribe for more true Hollywood stories.